How did you use an Uno reverse to turn your family's rules upside down? My parents had a brutal rule. If you didn't meet their standards, you got completely cut off until you learned your lesson. They never expected me to use that rule to destroy their retirement plans. Growing up, my family operated like a business. Good grades meant rewards. Bad grades meant consequences. My older brother Ryan was the star. Straight A's, perfect SAT scores, early admission to Harvard. I was the disappointment who barely graduated high school. The family rule was simple: meet our expectations or get nothing. No financial support, no family connections, no safety net. They believed tough love would motivate me to reach my potential like Ryan had. When I turned 18 with a 2.3 GPA and no college prospects, my parents activated the rule. You're cut off, Dad announced at dinner. No money, no house, no help with anything until you prove you're serious about your future. They expected me to come crawling back within weeks. Instead, I packed my stuff and disappeared into the world they thought would break me. With no other options, I started working construction. 12-hour days, minimum wage, sleeping in a shared apartment with 3 other guys. My parents heard about my pathetic situation through relatives and waited for my inevitable surrender. But something funny happened while they were waiting for me to fail. I discovered I was good at building things. Within 6 months, I was promoted to crew leader. Within a year, I was managing job sites. Meanwhile, Ryan was thriving at Harvard with full family support. My parents paid his tuition, living expenses, and funded his unpaid internships. They bragged constantly about their successful son, while dismissing my construction work as manual labor. By 25, I'd saved enough to start my own contracting company. By 30, I was employing 40 people and handling million-dollar projects. But my family still saw me as the failure who'd been cut off. The Uno reverse came when my parents hit retirement age at 65. They'd spent all their money supporting Ryan through Harvard, then law school, then his unpaid clerkships. They'd assumed their investment would pay off. It didn't. Ryan became a public defender making $45,000 a year. Noble work, but not the financial success they'd expected. He was drowning in loans and barely supporting his own family. That's when my parents realized they had no retirement savings. They'd blown everything on Ryan's education and their lifestyle, assuming he'd take care of them later. But Ryan couldn't even take care of himself. Desperate, they called me. "We know we've had our differences," Dad said carefully, "but family is family. We're hoping you might help us figure out our retirement situation." I let them explain their crisis. The maxed out credit cards, the second mortgage, the lack of savings. They needed someone successful to bail them out. "That's interesting," I said, "but I have a rule about helping people. I only assist family who supported me when I needed it most." The silence was deafening. "You cut me off at 18 because I didn't meet your standards," I continued. "Now you don't meet mine. No support, no help until you prove you're serious about your future." I was using their exact words from 17 years earlier. My mother argued this was different, that family should matter more than old grudges. But I smiled and repeated their own philosophy. "Tough love builds character," I said. "You taught me failure is the best teacher. Time for you to learn some lessons." Ryan tried to guilt me, saying I was being cruel, but he couldn't contribute. He was still paying off the very loans that bankrupted our parents. 6 months later, they sold their house and moved into a tiny apartment. Dad got a part-time job at Home Depot, ironically asking me for a reference since I was now the biggest contractor in town. They finally understood that their disappointment had become more successful than their golden child, using the very rule they'd created to punish me.